It is time for ImPulses presented by MicroEssentials. Something feels wrong. That feels a little bit better. Let's start with Penn State and Ohio State. We all believe Christian Ackerberg's going to have to throw the ball all over the yard. You would think that means a big day for Allen Robinson, but Ohio State knows that too. And with Felder and James and other options, I think Penn State will spread it around. So my impulse tells me, Marcus, Allen Robinson, as good as he is, will not lead Penn State in receiving yards this weekend.
I disagree with you, my friend, with that impulse. Jake Doozy and Jared Abbrederis walked into Ohio Stadium and they had career days, which tells me that Allen Robinson, who is the focal point of this Penn State receiving game, he is going to get his average of 117 yards, and Roby is going to have his hands
Big
full.
statement.
Right. I actually agree with you, Rick. I disagree with what you're saying. I think that it's guaranteed that they know they have to get Allen Robinson involved in this game early, unlike they did waiting at the game against Michigan in that overtime victory. I think it's important that they get him involved early and they take advantage of using those tight ends in this game to allow that deep ball to open up.
Yeah, I think Roby goes back and watches a lot of tape of what Blake Countess did to Allen Robinson, shutting him down through most of that loss, Penn State and Michigan. Iowa gave up its first 2 rushing touchdowns of the year to Ohio State. They're going to be upset about that. That defense takes a lot of pride. And Northwestern hasn't gone over 100 yards rushing in 3 straight games. Add it all up, and my impulse tells me, Eric, I will not allow a rushing touchdown this weekend against the Wildcats.
I agree with you. I think defensively, Iowa has proven that they can play with some of the best in the conference when it comes to the running game. And I think that's what's going to happen here. They've got a team coming in, Northwestern, that's not very physical. They're a little bit banged up, and I think that's going to hurt them when they start getting into that late third quarter and fourth quarter during this game.
Well, they can't score any points, and part of the reason is their main two offensive weapons, Coulter and Mark, they've been out, and they've only scored 23 points combined in the last 2 games. And Iowa's defense is very stout. The problem is they didn't finish in that second half, and neither did Northwestern versus Wisconsin or Ohio State. But I really agree that Iowa will not give up a rushing touchdown versus a banged-up Northwestern offense.
Well, Northwestern is struggling to run the ball. Nebraska is not. Big reason why, Amir Abdullah. And I believe this. The Taylor Martinez injury did not hurt Nebraska. They went unbeaten while he was out, and they found out the formula to winning is to run the football between the tackles. So my impulse tells me, I don't care if Martinez is back. Don't change things, Tim Beck. Amir Abdullah will have at least 20 carries, Marcus, for the 3rd game in a row.
Well, I agree with you because Illinois cannot stop the run. They've given up a ton of rush yards in their last 2 games. Amir Abdullah's in a rhythm, 816 yards on the season. And I just believe if Nebraska's going to win this game, they have to play keep away because Minnesota will ball control you the same way they just did Northwestern. So I agree. Amir Abdullah is going to have 20-plus carries, and he's going to have a big day.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Rick. I think it's going to be more like 30-plus carries. I think that Taylor Martinez coming back, they've got to be careful with getting him too involved in the run game because one injury to that toe digresses this team back to where they were before with the quarterback situation. So I think it's real important that Amir lead this team. He carries the ball 30-plus times, and then Martinez execute in the passing game.
I saved my boldest impulse for last. I love Mark D'Antonio. I think he does great things at Michigan State. I think he's one of the best defenses in the nation. But everybody's telling Connor Cook and Michigan State how good they are right now.
They are.
Because they are one of the favorites right now to win the Legends division. They have Michigan next week. It's very easy to look ahead to that game. You see where I'm going here.
Right.
Homecoming in Champaign. My impulse tells me Tim Beckman picks up his first ever Big Ten Conference win as the Illini pull off the upset, Eric, over Michigan State.
Well, I disagree. I think that's what's going to happen is Michigan State lives off stopping the run, and once you stop the run, you make a team one-dimensional, and you have to throw the football. Michigan State's defense likes to sit in a cover 4, and they will force you to throw the football to the flats where they've got guys to make tackles. And I think that's going to be the important thing here is that Illinois will not be able to break the tackles because Michigan State is very good at tackling.
I disagree with Rick as well, but let's be clear. Illinois lit Wisconsin up, and Indiana did a good job of scoring points against Michigan State, but this Illinois offense really came alive. They had close to 400 yards. They scored 32 points.
Yeah, they were down big. It was some garbage yardage, though.
But the problem with Illinois, they have been outscored 35-0 in the first quarter. So that's why I agree with you. And too much Langford, too much Michigan State defense. I disagree.
Nah, it's homecoming. You never know.
Michigan State.
Beckman's going to get off the schneid at some point. I just feel like when you look ahead toward that Michigan game next weekend, very easy to look past Illinois.